Okay, I am so glad you are here. This is my typical Friday time slot, and it's not the typical class that I'm offering today. Um, there's this week, this holiday especially, um, as with all things, there's a complexity to it. And it's up to each one of us to kind of discern um, what we want to pay attention to, what we want to take away from it. And I think one of the kind of overriding themes where people can really find common ground is the practice of gratitude. And I think that there was even a class yesterday, I can't remember who taught it, but somebody taught a class at Blue Lotus yesterday on gratitude. And what I know about gratitude, at least from my own practices, gratitude is a way of opening doors. It's gratitude ultimately is a practice of grace and ease. And when you can create a sense of ease, there's less likelihood that you're going to hold on to things, that you're going to take a hard stance or try to drum up or try to create a defense. And so when thinking about what I wanted to offer today, I thought that a really beautiful way to continue or to actually utilize the practice of gratitude is to find out what parts of our existence, what parts of our physical body, our emotional body, our spiritual body, where can we create ease in those places so that we could perhaps unattach ourselves from whatever negative forces are dominating in that way. So perhaps it's thoughts that are interrupting your practice of your better angels. Perhaps it's biases that is interrupting your practice of being your higher self. And so you'll hear me today kind of weave through, as typically I do, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. But the invitation is to allow a sense of ease, allow a sense of gratitude, to open the door to see where you can ungrip. And though we all are human beings and we all will be practicing our humanity for the rest of our days, there is also an opportunity and an invitation to practice our higher selves. And that's what this world is calling for, I believe, in this moment, is to act within our better angels, our higher essence, to serve this world in the way that we can. All right, so that's our plan. It might be helpful to have some blocks handy. It might be helpful to have a journal handy. There's not going to be any designated time to write, but if you feel called to document any thoughts you're having, feel free to get off your mat and do what you feel is right and good for you. Alrighty, so we're going to start sitting. Grab whatever you feel might be helpful in your sitting practice. And take some time to move around in your body before you really land into stillness. And as you meet certain characteristics or aspects of yourself, notice the language or the tone of your language as you meet yourself, as you greet yourself. Notice from head to toe any places in your body that are feeling resistance or hesitant or rigid. And then when your body feels like it's ready to settle, then allow your physical body to kind of create a vessel for a collaboration of stillness and flow. So the internal or the external body becomes very still, very contained, very supported. But our insides continue to flow. The breath moves, the energy moves, the blood moves through our very being. So as you create a long and tall spine, can you allow a sense of ease on the surface of your skin so that the breath is not having to fight to get to certain places? Can you sit with a sense of reverence and respect? And at the same time, can you sit with a sense of openness that you're not only in the presence of yourself, your practice, in whatever way you see and feel and label divine energy, you're also sitting in front of each other. And whether you're here practicing with us at 9:30 or you're practicing later in the day, you're still a part of the we. And so as you welcome yourself, welcome each other. And this practice of giving and receiving the breath, we're already in a conscious exchange. What we take in, what we let go. So as you greet yourself on the mat this morning, so notice how you are. How you're feeling physically, how you are handling the specific equation of your emotions in this moment. Your relationship to spirit, your relationship to divine energy. Which can sometimes be a little challenging to decipher, but I always know that I can determine my relationship with spirit by how I'm treating other people. If I'm judging or raging or demanding or controlling, that likely means that I'm not operating from my spirit. And I'm not in relationship with the greater force of the divine. So as you sit here, as we sit here in our realness and our truthfulness, our as is state, know that as is wholeness. And though this is a practice of clearing the path, what it really means is determining who is driving our daily life, who is in charge. And kind of spinning that wheel to get ego out of the way, to get limiting doubts out of the way, to get our biases and limiting beliefs out of the driver's seat and in a back seat somewhere. Start to deepen your breath. And as you deepen your breath, as you feel your body move with your breath, likely you're bringing those emotions and sensations to the surface even more. So notice what you notice about breathing. When we tend to bury things in our heart space, we can constrict our breath. We can kind of tone down and get a sense of heaviness in our chest. And so when you inflate the breath, it can be really emotional. So if that's the case for you, just notice that. Now, as you inhale, kind of imagine in your mind's eye light coming in from the tip of the nose and meeting at the very top of the inhale, right at the center point of your forehead, right at the third eye. And then as you exhale, notice that light going back out again through each nostril. So creating a downward facing V with your inhales and exhales. Inhaling through both nostrils, filling up with light to the center point of the forehead. And exhale, releasing back from the center point of the forehead all the way down through both nostrils. And as you continue this visualization and practice with your breath, you'll start to notice that even as you exhale, the light remains. As you inhale, the light increases, it brightens, it warms. This breath practice is one that allows us to clarify vision. To not only see with our human eyes, but more importantly, clear out the space that allows us to see with our soul's eye. Take 3 more rounds of inhales and exhales, lighting up that downward facing V. And then, though you might consciously release that visualization, you still might be aware of the light that surrounds your third eye. Bring your hands to heart center, lower your chin towards your chest. Let the light of that third eye shine down on your heart. And witness the complexity and majesty of your compassion, your forgiveness, your grace, your grief, all that exists within the heart. As you give yourself gratitude for showing up to this practice, to each other, to the divine. You are putting your heart in motion. You're putting your soul in action. And may we endeavor today to continue this action-oriented practice to unbind ourselves from bias, to unravel ourselves from what keeps us separate from ourselves and each other. Can we allow this clear vision to see what's possible in the name of hope, in the name of faith, in the name of work and willingness, in the name of truth and love? And place your hands down onto the floor. Anywhere is fine, anywhere where you can feel the fullness of the earth. Whether you're going through concrete or carpet or layers or levels, feel the pull of gravity. If you're already feeling something heavy and ready to be released, this might be a moment for you to lay something down. Perhaps a word or phrase or conversation or emotion. On your next breath in, start to make your way onto hands and knees. Anything that's in your way, I'm going to set it aside. And you might even take this time to kind of set up your props if you haven't already. So your blocks might be handy at the front of your mat. Once you get into table pose, before any movement begins, start to create your Ujjayi breath. Once you find that rhythm, that 3 or 4 counts in both directions, once you hear the breath, once you hear the song of your breath, then you can start to move in any way that feels right and good. As you move the breath across your back body, move the breath through the back of your heart, over and around your kidneys, your sacral area, your neck, your seat. And then we're going to meet up in child's pose in the next 2 or 3 rounds of breath. Even yourself out and then land. Hands forward. Park yourself towards the back of your mat. As your hands reach forward, take a moment to connect your fingertips to the mat. Lift your elbows. Feel the stretch underneath your armpits. And then land the palms of the hands, land your forearms. Let the stretch be a little bit more settled and surrendered. Walk your hands over towards the right side of your mat. Breathe through your left waist. And your next breath in, walk back through center. And as you breathe out, head on over to your left. And then on your next breath in, walk back through center. Feel your exhale settle you. On your next inhale, rise up into table pose. And then exhale, keep on going. Melt your belly down to the mat. So we're going to move through these 2 places, from the belly to child's pose. Inhale through a low cobra back into table pose, and exhale into child's. And make this a practice of prostration. Now, as you move, you can kind of undulate and round through your spine as you rise and descend. Or you can keep it more in a plank-like fashion, keeping your spine a little longer, a little bit more active in your belly to keep your spine supported. So do what feels right to you. Either way, though, you are in a practice of prostration, a practice of receiving the divine force that is all around us. And really, it's just a matter of a convergence of the divine force that surrounds us and that is within us. It's a bowing to our beingness. The forgiveness of our humanness. Take one more round. Once you get back into child's pose, stay there for just another moment. Bring the palms together into namaste, and then bend your elbows, point your fingertips behind your heart. Offer yourself a moment of prayer. Let the prayer move from the front of the heart to the back of the heart. And then return your hands to the mat. Slowly rise back up into table pose. Center yourself on your mat. And then as you exhale, downward facing dog. Take some time here to open up your legs, your hips, your shoulders. As your inner witness really starts to come alive, start to pay attention to the differences between stress and strength, tightness and tension. When that third eye energy is behind our vision, we have a practice of discernment. And so as you are invited into these shapes and poses in this practice today, discern what's best for you. If there's another option that feels better in your body than this moment, then that's what you do. Feel your upper arms wrap around the bones, feel your inner thighs press back, feel your hands root, feel your heels lengthen. Breathe in together. And breathe out. On your next inhale, look forward and walk it to the top of your mat. Once you get there, lengthen your spine. Use any support you might need or want. And then exhale, soften your knees, fold in, and release your hands behind your head. Let your thumbs give your skull, the base of your skull, a massage. And then when you're ready, release your hands, bend your knees, roll to stand. Then once you get upright, reach even higher, hands up. Take a few shoulder rolls from high cactus to low cactus, leading with your elbows, opening your heart. And on your next breath out, bring your hands to heart center. And take a deep inhale here. Release those hands as you exhale. Inhale, we rise together. And exhale, forward fold, take it to the mat. Soften your knees as much as you want or need. Inhale, lengthen your spine halfway up. And exhale, downward facing dog. Shifting forward to plank pose. And lower your knees for a moment, pause here. Feel your tailbone lengthen, your belly activated. As you open and lift your collarbones, feel your heart reach forward. As you feel your tailbone lengthen, feel the power of your belly spread across the whole center of you and the sides of you. Take a deep breath and exhale, come all the way down to the mat. Root your feet, rise up into a low cobra. So feel your elbows draw back, your heart lift. And exhale, come on down. You're going to do that twice more. Inhale, rise. And exhale, lower. Last time to rise. And exhale to lower. Table pose on the breath in. Now, as you exhale, you're going to sit on your heels. Pause for a moment here. You can always sit cross-legged if that feels better in your knees or your hips. Going to go through a round of breath of fire. The inhale is very passive. The exhale is very forceful. It's all happening through your nose. You can go as slowly or as quickly as you like, but let's take a clearing breath in together. Big exhale through the mouth, let it go. And breathe in to begin. Keep on going. As you exhale, your belly kind of pulls away from the shirt. You can even take your hand to your belly to help kind of feel that experience on another level. Five, four, three, two, one. Big inhale, lion's breath. Stick out your tongue, big exhale. Inhale to table pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. One inhale and one exhale. Looking forward and take it to the top of the mat. Lengthen your spine and exhale, fold in. This time hook your elbows perhaps, or you can even give yourself a hug, just giving your body a moment to feel the traction through the spine, down the backs of the legs. And then releasing your hands, bend your knees, roll to stand. On your inhale, go even higher, hands reach up and come home to your heart. And take a deep inhale. Release your hands. And now we rise together. And exhale, forward fold, take it to the mat. Inhale, lengthen your spine halfway. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, shift forward into plank pose. Come all the way down to your belly using your knees or not. A low, a medium, or a high cobra. One round, rise up. And come right back down to the floor. Inhale, table pose. Feet to heels, again, sitting in Vajrasana, sitting on your heels, sides together. Again, one more round of breath of fire. A big inhale. Exhale out of the mouth, let it go. Begin when you're ready. Five, four, three, two, one. Big inhale. Lion's breath as you exhale. Inhale to table pose. Tuck your toes and exhale it back into downward dog. One inhale here. One exhale out. Look forward and take it to the top of your mat. Lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold in. Charge your legs this time. Rise to stand, reach, and come home to the heart. A deep inhale. And release your hands. Last time through. Inhale, rise. And descend. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And downward facing dog. Shift forward into plank pose. Come all the way down to the mat. Now you can press up into cobra or even up dog from here. Lengthen your tailbone, press the floor away. If you're cobra, your thighs and pelvis are down. If you're up dogging it, your thighs and pelvis are lifted. Take a deep breath all the way back down. Practice of prostration. Inhale to table pose. Last time to sit on your heels. Last round of breath of fire. Deep inhale. Big exhale out of the mouth. Begin when you're ready. Five, four, three, two, one. Inhale. Lion's breath. Stick out your tongue. Exhale it all away. Inhale to table pose. Now from table pose, either step your knees back to a supported plank pose or tuck your toes under into plank pose. We're going to be here for a small chunk of time. So find what works for you as far as support. Open your collarbones. Exactly. So don't let your head hang down. That's going to kind of constrict your throat. Your eyes can be open or closed or anywhere in between, but perhaps reimagine that downward facing V. Beautiful. These look amazing. Last two steady breaths. Everybody knees down. Take a moment here to feel your knees down. And then when you're ready, press back into downward facing dog. Actively waking up the belly on a physical level. Yes, there's that churning and heat and warmth and activation. But it's what's happening on the energetic level that is such a powerful practice. It's disrupting the way that the ego likes to take center stage. The ego and the soul are, not surprisingly, kind of centered in the same area. And so allowing ourselves the opportunity to discern who is moving, who is operating, where the path is coming from or originating, so that we can discern, we can consciously decide to operate from the soul. On your next breath in, stretch your right leg skyward. Take a few circles to your right ankle joint. Feel your inner thighs spiral upward, your heel reach back. Take a deep breath and step through between your hands on your exhale. You can either do this with your back knee down or up, completely up to you. But find energy hugging into the midline. Activate your center. Find your rising coming from the power that lives within. Hands up. Take a deep breath here. And then as you exhale, widen your elbows. Let your inhale reach the hands to the sky. As you exhale, widen your elbows. We're going to take 3 more rounds. As you reach the hands up, if you'd like, you can straighten your front knee. And as you exhale, you widen your elbows, bend your front knee. So it's up to you. 2 more times. Now pause here for just a moment. Elbows wide, tailbone long, heart open and lifted. Feel the power of the earth fueling this rising of your heart, this expansion of your soul. Take a deep breath here, and then exhale, hands meet the mat. Now you're going to step your back foot in about a foot or so. And the blocks are going to be helpful here, or something to elevate your chest, your heart. You're not going to want to forward fold here. That comes later. We're trying to get the spine as long as we can get it. We're trying to get our insides as long as we can get them. So be upright, even if that means your hand is onto your shins. Resist that urge to fold. Draw your right hip crease back. Both collarbones forward. There's a lot of emotion wrapped up in the belly of the hamstring, so notice what you notice here. Even in steady breath of Ujjayi, helping to navigate whatever is showing up in this moment. When you're ready, walk your hands, take your blocks with you or whatever is supporting you. Pick up your back leg for supported warrior 3. Again, you can always take your hands onto your shin if you don't have anything handy to hold on to elevate your spine. Let your left inner thigh spiral skyward. Fluid and steady breath. One more inhale here. And exhale, park your left foot next to your right. Bend your knees, drop your seat, chair pose, arms reach. Now lengthen your tailbone, feel your belly lift. And as you anchor down through your lower body, feel this elongation of your upper body. On your next inhale, stand tall, arms reach. And exhale, forward fold, take it to the mat. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, downward facing dog, step it back. On your inhale, left leg lifts up. Pause here for just a moment, a few circles to your ankle joint. A deep breath here. And then as you exhale, step through between your hands. Again, back knee can be up or down, completely up to you. But hug your energy into the midline, into that middle path of your spine. And then as you reach your feet, activate your legs and rise up. And cactus your arms, elbows wide, shoulder blades lengthening towards your hips. Check in with your front knee, make sure that it's directly over your toes. On your inhale, hands reach to the ceiling or sky. And widen your elbows. One more like that. And then for the next 3, if you'd like to straighten your front leg, please feel free. Moving with your Ujjayi breath. Pausing here. Can you feel this particular equation or recipe of the pose? of where you're rooted, where you're centered, where you're rising, where you're opening, where you're garnering your strength. Take a deep inhale and exhale, hands meet the mat. Step your back foot in about a foot or so, grab those blocks or support. Lengthen your spine. Draw your left hip crease back. Continue to keep your belly lifted up and away from your front thigh. The opportunity to change our perspective, to get a different point of view. Coupled with the practice of gratitude. Really allows us the opportunity of empathy and, more importantly, compassion. Because compassion is empathy practiced in motion. When you're ready, walk your hands forward, pick up your back leg, supported warrior 3. Again, resist that urge to fold in. Feel your left leg, your left glute strengthening. Feel other parts of your body starting to collaborate to hold the shape. Deep breath here. And then as you exhale, park your right foot next to your left. Bend your knees, drop your seat, chair pose, arms reach. Sit back just a little further, as if there's room. You can even flutter your toes as long as the soles of the feet and heels are rooted. On your next inhale, rise up. And exhale, forward fold, take it to the mat. Inhale, lengthen your spine halfway up. And exhale, downward facing dog. From down dog, shift forward to plank pose. These are up or down, completely up to you. And then lower as you like, half or all the way. Cobra or upward facing dog, open your heart. And exhale, press back, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, right leg lifts. And step through between your hands. Everybody lower your back knee down. If you've done this practice with me before, you know that there's a specific sequence. So the first round is really about stretching your spine, elongating and kind of getting your internal organs as stretched as they can be. We're here in the second wave now where we're starting to compress the internal organs, giving them a good massage here. So feeling the right side of your waist connected to your right thigh. The ascending colon, liver and gallbladder. And we're going to put this in motion. So inhale here, and then as you exhale, rock your sit bones back, straighten your front leg. The front leg doesn't need to come all the way straight. You can keep it then if that helps you keep the compression of your belly to your thigh. So moving with breath 4 more times at your own rhythm. Inhale will carry you forward. Your exhale will draw you back. And after your final round, we'll all meet back in that lunge, front knee bent. You can stay right here, send your hands to the space behind you or interlace your knuckles. If you'd like more sensation, you can tuck the back toes under and lift your knee. A lot of different places to be, but again, kind of this connection of your waist to your thighs is what's really kind of driving this part of the practice. Last 2 rounds of steady breath here. Big inhale. Hands to the floor if they're not already. So if your back knee is down, lift it up. Again, you're going to step the back foot forward about a foot or so. Blocks might be helpful here. Lengthen the spine. And then as you exhale, this is where we're going to try to fold in this time. So that full version of Parsvottanasana. And again, you can keep that front knee bent if that helps you create or keep that connection of waist to thigh. Again, a different point of view, lowering the head below the heart. Stay in your rhythm of breath. Take one more inhale here. And one more exhale. Lengthen your spine. Walk your hands forward. Pick up your back leg, either with or without that support underneath your hands. This time we're going to fold in as much as you can. And you might not get that full connection of belly to thigh, and don't worry about it. Just this practice of folding in. Feel that back thigh spiral upward. Reach through your heel, 2 more rounds of breath. Hands to floor, lengthen your spine. This time you're going to step about hips distance apart, maybe even a little wider. Breathe in for length. Now as you exhale, bend your knees, drop your seat, keep your hands to the floor. So you can keep your hands here to the floor for support. You can stretch your hands behind you. You can reach your hands in front of you. Again, you're trying to make this connection of your waist, the upper middle part of your belly to your thighs for that compressive state. Take a deep inhale here and exhale, forward fold. Take it to the mat. Lengthen your spine on your inhale and then step back to downward facing dog. On your next breath in, left leg lifts up. And exhale, step through between your hands. Gently, your back knee comes down. Pause here. Working the left side of the body now. The descending colon, pancreas and spleen. As we work this physical collaboration of your digestive system, you're not only getting rid of, toxins that we take in on a physical level, what we eat, what we breathe, what we drink, but on an emotional level as well. Take a deep breath here, and we'll put this in motion as you exhale, rock back. Again, keep your front knee bent as much as you need or want. Trying to, as best you can, keep some kind of connection of belly to thigh. You got 5 rounds all together. Move with your breath. The next time you get into Your low lunge, pause there. We'll all meet up there. Now you can stay right here. You can stretch your hands back behind you. You can interlace your knuckles. If you'd like, you can tuck your back toes under and lift the knee. If you're choosing that last route, especially, feel your left hip crease draw back. Feel your right inner thigh spiral up and both glutes fully awake. If you're starting to notice a metallic taste in your mouth, you know that that practice is working. It's getting rid of, again, those toxins that are held up in our physical body. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, hands to the mat. If your back knee is down, gently lift it up. And everybody step your back foot forward, just a foot or so. Use your blocks if you'd like. Left hip crease draws back, take a deep breath, and then as you exhale, fold it. Steady in your breath. Again, this is deep hamstring work here, so notice emotion. Notice if you're judging or curious about the emotion. On your next breath in, lengthen your spine and walk your hands forward, pick up your back leg. And then when you're ready, fold into that standing split. Feel your left foot rooting as much as you feel your right foot reaching. One more inhale here. And then as you exhale, park your right foot to the mat, about hips distance apart, maybe even a little wider. When you're ready, bend your knees, drop your seat. Hands can stay to the floor, hands can stretch back, they can interlace. You can reach forward. Last inhale here. Forward fold, straighten your legs. Lengthen your spine and downward facing dog. Shift forward into plank pose. Lower as you like. Up on the breath in and back on the breath out. Inhale together and exhale together. On your next breath in, right leg lifts and step through. Back knee comes down. So in the first round, there was that elongation. In the second round, there was a compression. The third round is where we ring out, we twist out through our internal space. So as you inhale, come on up, bring your hands to heart center. And then hook your left elbow outside your right thigh. If coming down in this way is too much, you can always stay upright. Take your right hand to the small of the back and the left hand to the outside of your right thigh. Notice if there's any kind of resistance that isn't chosen. So notice if there's any unconscious actions happening in your body that you need to pay attention to, where you can allow grace to open the door, ease to walk through even. On your next breath in, hands back to heart center, lift your heart and chest. Hands to the mat, tuck your back toes under, lift your knee. Step your back foot in about a foot or so. Blocks might be handy here. You're going to take the hand or your block to the outside of your front foot. You can have that support as high as you want it. If you don't have support, you can always take it onto your shin. Draw your right hip crease back. Take a deep inhale here, and then as you exhale, you can take the right hand to the small of your back, lifting up your right shoulder, or you can take your right hand skyward for revolved triangle. Keep drawing your right hip crease back. Big breath here. Exhale, both hands down. Walk your hands forward. Back leg lifts. Left hand is going to stay right where it is. Right hand can come to the small of the back or reach skyward for a revolved half moon. Feel your feet. There's a tendency to dump into that left hip, so try to level it out as best you can. One more breath. Right hand down, feet side by side. Bend your knees, drop your seat, bring your hands to heart center. Lengthen your tailbone, lift your belly, take a deep breath, and you'll take a twist. Either staying upright, hand to knee, hand to back, or elbow to thigh. You can always spread your wings, left hand down, right hand skyward. Steady in your breath. On your next inhale, come back through heart center. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And exhale, downward facing dog. Left leg lifts. And step through. Back knee down. Come on up, hands to heart center. Take a twist here, upright or elbow to thigh. The opportunity to unwrap ourselves from what might be considered as our lower self or the lower octaves of our humanity. Practices of judgment, guilt, shame. That's the level we're talking about here. This is what we are releasing ourselves for the control of. Inhale back through heart center. Exhale, meet the mat. Back toes under knee lifts. And when you're ready, step forward just a foot or so. Really important to root your feet here. And revolving that triangle. So right hand to the shin, to the block, to the floor, to the outside of that left foot if you can. Left hip crease draws back. Perhaps left hand to the sacral spot of your spine, or perhaps skyward. Continue to breathe. One more inhale here. And then as you exhale, hands to the mat. Walk your hands forward, pick up your back leg. Right hand stays down, left hand either to the small of your back or to the ceiling. Notice if that right hip is dropping. See if you can level it out. Deep breath here. Both hands down, both feet down. Knees bend, seat drops, hands to heart. Chair pose. And then twisting to your left, staying upright, elbow to thigh. If you're pressing the palms, try to stack your shoulders as much as you can. If you'd like, right hand down, left hand skyward. Flood the kidneys with breath. Back through heart center, and exhale, forward fold. Lengthen your spine, and downward facing dog. Shift forward to plank pose, and lower as you like. Up on the breath in, open your heart, and press back. On your next inhale, look forward. Step around your hands, top of your mat. Lengthen your spine, spin your toes out, your heels in. Bend your knees, bring your hands onto your thighs and come up. So I'm gonna switch on my mat just so that you can see me. You don't need to unless you want your mat underneath your feet more. And by all means, if that's the case, then switch it up. Make sure your knees are over your ankles, so widen your feet as much as you need. Now use some breath to clear out all that we've unleashed and unlocked so far. So on your inhale, there's actually gonna be 2 inhales and 2 exhales in this warrior breath. Actually, let's start with the first layer, and then we'll maybe move on to the second. So inhale, take your hands into high cactus, straighten your legs. As you exhale through the mouth, elbows into a low cactus and bend your knees. And move really slowly to start. Inhale, elbows high, legs straight. Exhale, knees bent, elbows low. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out of the mouth. Now, as you exhale, start to deepen the power of your belly. Deepen your exhales out. Now you can take this, stay right here if this pace feels good to you, or you can take it into the warrior breath, which is basically double timing. Inhale, 2 inhales, exhale, 2 exhales. So again, either way, 1 or 2. And continue on for about 5 or 6 more rounds of breath. The circling of the arms are a practice of symbolizing not only clearing out your internal space, but that you're clearing your external space out as well, so that you are clearing the pathway of the light that you put out in the world. A couple more rounds. And then once you get low, pause there, keep your knees bent, hug your elbows into your waist, palms up. Eyes can be open or closed or anywhere in between. Feel your heartbeat. Feel the proof of life that you're here. Your heartbeat is your own unique signature on this moment in time. Sing a little bit lower. On your next breath in, straighten your legs, parallel your feet, toe your feet a little closer together, perhaps underneath your hips, and fold forward. If you've shifted to a wide stance on your mat, come back to the top of your mat. Hook your big toes or hands to your calves or ankles, whatever you can grab onto, and exhale, fold in. Last inhale here. On your breath in, lengthen your spine, and then as you exhale, step back to downward dog. Last flow of the day. Shifting forward and lowering as you like. Open up your heart. And downward facing dog. When you're ready, gently lower your knees to the mat and sit back into child's pose. Stretch your hands down by your feet. Make sure shoulders kind of round and hunch. It can be so confusing, this idea of what to let go of and why we let go of it, and wholeness, and what does it mean when we disconnect from those parts of our shadow, lower octave self. Yoga never invites us to disconnect from ourselves. Yoga asks for the discernment to ask who's in charge. So as you pause just for another moment into child's pose, into this symbolic gesture of beginning, of humility, just embody what that practice of humility really means, the beginner's mind, what it really means. It really means that we no longer allow the ego that will be ever present. We no longer allow the ego to make our choices, to speak our words, to create or defend or disconnect. That we instead recognize the ego will always be there, and yet too, so will the soul. So it's the soul that makes the choices. It's the soul that brings our higher self into being, into practice, into the world. So when you're ready, slowly start to sit upright. Rise up onto your shins. Tuck your toes under. Having a block might be helpful if reaching to your heels feels like too far away. You can place a block by your heel. We're going to do half, one side first and then the other. So if reaching to the block feels better for you, then grab your block. If you can reach to your heel, reach your left hand to your left heel. You can always do this by taking your left hand to the sacrum instead. Right hand to the heart. Take your hip points forward, your collarbones up. And then if you'd like, reach your hand skyward. We're on our knees here. In a shape of vulnerability, and yet our hearts are open wide. Our reach is as high as it can be. We're leaning back into faith. We're being centered in truth. simultaneously. One more breath. Untuck your toes. Come on up, sit on your heels. Take a moment here. Let your breath help you to manage your emotions, if any are rising. Notice any difference of sensation from the right side of your body to the left. When you're ready, rise back up onto your shins. Place your block to the outer right ankle if you're using it, or tuck your toes. Right hand to your right heel, or whichever one you didn't do before. The other hand to your heart. Hip points forward, collarbones up. Call into the space someone that has your back and feel the palm of their hand right in between your shoulder blades, in recognition that we were never meant to be doing this life on our own. And though as troubling as some parts of our constitution may be, it started with we the people. And so feel that we-ness here and right now. This matrix of life that we're opening ourselves up to and that we are supported by. One last breath. Come on up, untuck your toes, have a seat. Hands in your lap, palms up. And then easing off your heels to one side. Stretch your legs out. Take a few windshield wipers, side to side. And then a few different options here. You can bend your right knee, take it to the middle of your mat, stack your left knee on top. You can also cross your ankles if stacking the knees feels troublesome this morning. If you're looking for more sensation, you can slide your knees away from one another so that your shins stack instead. So a lot of places to be. Just make sure the fleshy bits of your buttocks are not getting in the way of connecting your sit bones to your mat. And sit up tall. Breathe here. Eyes can be open or closed or anywhere in between. There's likely somebody that you're missing right now. Whether they are just in another part of town, but you can't see them, they're in another part of the world, or they're in another plane. When we're missing people, when we're missing our people, the people that have embedded themselves in our hearts, that energy can be held up in our hips, in our sacral area. So as you sit here, notice what you notice about loss or grief, certain people. If you want to deepen that sensation, feel free to fold forward. but only do so with the practice of curiosity, not comparison or anything driven from the ego. As much as we can label ourselves an introvert or liking our own time, each one of us is wired to a different degree for people. And so there is a deprivation on all of our parts. We are deprived in some way of that human connection. Magnified maybe even more by gathering over holidays or time off. So honor whoever it is you're missing. Last couple of breaths. Rise up gently, sweep that top leg around behind you. Your bottom hand, your right hand is down to the floor for support. Your left hand is to the heart. You can either stay right here or you can lift your hips up. It's going to help to open up that deep compression we were just in. Breathe in and come on down. Gently guide that left leg around. And that knee will be on bottom. That ankle will be on bottom, or that shin. So readjust yourself into the shape on the opposite side. And stay upright for just a moment. Center yourself in your Ujjayi breath. Speaking about this idea of clearing the path, this practice of clearing the path. What is ultimately that path leading us towards? It's leading us to each other. Through, yes, experiences, through opportunities, through things that we create and we build. But ultimately, it's leading us to each other. And so know that as this practice of clearing the path makes its way through every part of our being, it's ultimately allowing for our whole, true, authentic, real, beautiful being to find others, to meet others in both their humanity and their beingness. So fold forward if you'd like, descend into more sensation. Perhaps either way, again, allowing a gratitude to open the doorway of that possibility of what it looks like to bring your authentic self out in the world, into your relationships. Likely there's been moments where you've brought glimpses of your authenticity to those hardest of relationships. At this moment in time, this world is inviting us more than just a glimpse. To heal what's close to us. To heal what we know. Who we're around. Practicing there, and then from there moving out, away from the things we are proximal to, the things that we know, to the things that we don't. Last couple of breaths. When you're ready, come on back up. Sweep your top leg behind you. Take a moment here to open up that side of the body, keeping your hips down if you'd like, or pressing the floor away with the hips up. When you're ready, come on down. Have a seat. Bend your knees, feet point skyward. Hold on to your shins. Pull against them to open your heart. Lean back. Do that a couple more times. And then once you get back, carry your legs with you. Gently take your knees over to the right for a twist. Back through center and over to your left. One last time at center, you can hug your shins in, you can take happy baby, whatever feels right and good. Whatever feels like that transition step towards rest. When you're ready, extend your body out long. With any support underneath you or on top of you, really place yourself in a space to fully embody rest. When you land your body, take a few cleansing breaths, big through the nose, big through the mouth. Allow yourself to be held. Allow yourself to let go. Allow yourself to rest. Slowly start to awaken. And feel yourself emerge from this cocoon of rest. As you break out of the shell of who stepped onto the mat, you emerge into the body who will leave. So move your fingers and toes. Begin to take ownership of this body. Body more integrated into thought, thoughts more integrated into heart, heart more integrated into spirit. When you're ready, gently roll over onto one side. And whatever it is you're leaving behind, feel it energetically peel off of your back and dissolve into your mat. And when you're ready, press yourself up to sit. Hands resting on your thighs, palms up, index fingers connected to thumbs. Eyes open or closed or anywhere in between. We allow for this moment to integrate, to inhabit this new layer that we have revealed. This new version of ourselves that will move off of the mat and into the world. With not just sight, but with vision. See how we can move our highest self out into the world to not only be, but to serve. Please bring your hands to heart center and lower your chin towards your chest. Again, thank yourself for showing up and thank each other for holding space in this collective movement of healing and transformation. May we move forward into these days and weeks ahead, ever mindful of the possibility of namaste, of the meaning of that word and the potential that it has. When two people operating in their highest selves come together, when their whole selves are present to one another, it's holy, it's divine. And so may we endeavor to not only speak the words of namaste, but act upon them, move within them, and operate from them, so that the path forward is from heart to heart and soul to soul. And that's where we will know the true meaning of healing and the embodiment of peace. Thank you. Namaste.